What is going on, everybody? Welcome in Wednesday night live show, Wednesday night hang on the Seth Floyd Show. I am Seth Floyd Hansen, hosting this show. If you couldn't guess, uh, missed last week. Okay, we had some stuff going on. Yours truly was my birthday. Okay, had a birthday. Celebrated last Wednesday. It wasn't last Wednesday. It was on the 11th, so it was Friday. But just for scheduling purposes, we had to celebrate Wednesday. Okay, did a little trivia night, which was fun. So my plan last week was to record Tuesday, do a live show. You might have saw that on the channel, but some construction worker cut the line. I don't know, cut the line in our neighborhood, and so nobody had internet that whole night. So anyway, so I decided to bag it. But my main man Shaq Nums came through big, and I was able to send him my picks for last week's show. And I just want to say we'll get there. We'll review as we normally do. But Shaq Nums coming up strong. Attaboy, big dog. I'm glad you're here. Sorry I was gone last week. I had a record-breaking week. I've never done that well ever. There were 14 games. I went 13-1. Can you believe that? Is that the best of all time? Are they calling me the greatest of all time now? They might be. You don't know. You can't prove that they're not. So anyway, I went 13-1. The only game I missed was that stupid Jacksonville game in London. I try to do this thing where like every week there's a weird upset game. It feels like every single week. And I guess there probably wasn't really one this past week. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Shaq Nums, tell me, was there a weird upset this past week? The Niners, my Niners have been the reason for two of those upsets this year. But anyway, there's always a weird game, a weird upset game every single week. It feels like it's not very often that all the favored teams, all the expected teams to win, actually win. So I always try to do really well at this kind of thing, guessing all the games. You've got to be able to pick the upsets when you think they're going to happen. Like I picked, speaking of Jacksonville, I picked Jacksonville to beat the Colts a couple of weeks ago. Was it the Colts? They beat the Colts. That's their one win. I think it is. Anyway, I picked that because they're not going to go defeated the whole season, and it worked. It worked out. So but I picked them again. Thought they were going to get two in a row, and freaking they let me down. They looked terrible. They looked horrible in London. And if you go back and watch the video that just dropped today, I recorded it, dropped it today. I talk about the 5 things we know about the NFL this year so far through 2 weeks, or excuse me, not 2 weeks, 6 weeks. There's not that many. This is the drunkest NFL season we've seen in a long time. But one of the 5 things that I feel very confident in is Doug Peterson, Mike McCarthy, and Nick Sirianni are all getting fired before the season's done or right after the season. I feel very confident that all 3 of those coaches will be gone unless their seasons turn around dramatically. Let's see. Colts Titans was like a 2-point spread. That's as close of a spread there was this week, so no real underdog one. Yeah. Yeah, kind of weird. There's usually though, like I don't know how you guys consume your Sunday football or whatever, but usually like I just at the end of the night or I get home from church and I'm just looking at the noon games because I don't get to watch the noon games really. And I look and I see and there's usually one game that's like, oh, what the heck? The Jaguars are beating the Colts. Like there's always weird stuff like that going on. The Raiders beat the Ravens week 2. Like what the heck? What happened there? That happens like every week. Anyway, I wanted to start, if you noticed, my thumbnail and my title for this live show, this Wednesday night hangout. I'm bringing into question the Philadelphia Eagles. And if you can notice, if you've been listening, I'm not a fan of Nick Sirianni. Not in the slightest. Their team, I can't decide if I want to look at the camera or look down at my computer. Sorry, guys. What's better? Someone tell me what's better. If I'm looking at it's probably more comfortable if I'm like looking at the computer screen. Anyway, they are a flawed team. They have problems on defense. I would think their offense is better than their defense, but Jalen Hurts is far from what everyone thought he was in 2022. Even, I will bring this up again, I brought it up in multiple videos, even in 2022, Jalen Hurts had, I don't know off the top of my head, it was like 24 touchdowns and 10 interceptions or something like that. Maybe it wasn't that many. Maybe it was 8 interceptions, but not like blowing the doors off numbers. Now he could run. He ran a lot more in 2022 than he has recently. But Jalen has not shown that he's going to like carry a team on his back from the pocket. And so you got problems on defense. Jalen, while very good, I don't even want to say he's very good. Like Jalen, who is a competent quarterback in the NFL, has some weapons around him, but the offense still isn't what everyone thought it would be. I mean, Saquon Barkley averaged less than 3 yards a carry on Sunday against the Browns. 18 carries for 47 yards, I think was the line. But the biggest problem is Nick Sirianni. And as you guys know, you're football fans, you saw what happened at the end of that game. He's like yelling at fans. Not the first time he's yelled at fans, by the way. If you remember that Chiefs game last year where they beat the Chiefs, he's running into the tunnel like screaming at Chiefs fans. There's that famous clip that I did a whole video on it basically, where he's like the sideline camera's on him. It's like a timeout, and Sirianni, the offensive coordinator, and Jalen are all talking. All of a sudden, Sirianni looks over to the other side of the field and starts flipping the bird. And Jalen, the player, not the coach, the player, has to be like, dude, cut it out, chill out. What are you doing? Like, you have problems when your head coach is one of the biggest glaring problems. You're not going far. You're not. Now they started really hot last year. They won a bunch of one-score games, started really hot, and were 10-1, and then the wheels absolutely fell off. Lost 6-7. Never were in that playoff game against the Bucks. Like they have issues, and as I said before the season, nothing's changed. If your head coach is the main problem and you didn't change the head coach, you still have a bad problem, a main problem. And people were trying to sell it in the media that, oh, like Saquon Barkley is going to fix this team. All this, like that was like the only big addition. Their other addition, Devin White. It's Devin White, right? He's like a healthy scratch. They just release him. Like he was the other addition on defense. They drafted well. Like I'm sure that their rookies are going to be good eventually, but I'm supposed to expect like a bunch of rookies to come in and fix your problems on defense. Vic Fangio came in. I know he's got a good track record in his overall career, but he was not good with the Dolphins. The Dolphins players were like celebrating when Vic Fangio left. There was like a bunch of cryptic tweets and posts talking about how happy they were gone, that he was gone. Just saying, this was predictable. This was predictable that they were going to be bad, that they do not have anything fixed. And I've been looking at their schedule. Guys, things could get real weird for the Eagles really quick. Josh, this has to be the only answer. Nice to see you, Josh, by the way. Eagles have mob ties. Sirianni probably does too. How else is he still there? I don't know. I do not. I think Howie thought like bringing in Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio, two guys, at least Fangio would like settle him down. I don't know, man. He is what he is at his core, and you're not playing good enough to justify it. The Browns are, I think, the worst team in the NFL. They have to be. Maybe the Jags. The Jags have like better personnel. That's a Doug Peterson thing over there, I think. And you barely beat them at home, and then you're chirping at the fans after. Like I would have fired him. I don't care that you're 3-2. I would have fired him. Like you're such a bad look. You're such a bad look. Yeah, Jalen last year, 23 TDs, 15 interceptions. Like, I don't know, man. I love Jalen as like a person. He's a great leader, a heck of an athlete. And he's had some moments where you're like, dang, this dude throws the best deep ball in the league, but you haven't seen it in a bit. From the midway point of last year to now, you just haven't seen it. So I'm out on the Eagles. I don't think they're making the playoffs. Let's talk. What would imploding mean? Let's talk about that before we preview what's coming on. Let's share this, and we're gonna go. Yep, there we go. Okay. So they barely beat the Browns. Let's look at their schedule real quick. Okay, they beat Green Bay in Brazil. I'm pretty lukewarm on Green Bay because they have defensive problems, and Jordan Love is throwing a lot of interceptions, thrown 6 interceptions in 4 games. He's thrown 12 touchdowns. That's really impressive, 12 touchdowns, but he's thrown 6 interceptions in 4 games. Jordan Love is 2-2 as a starter this year. 2 of the Packers wins have come with Malik Willis as their starter, so just keep that in mind. Lost to Atlanta. I mean, not a terrible loss because Atlanta looks pretty all right. Barely beat the Saints. The Saints look like the wheels are falling off. They don't have Derek Carr now. Never was close against Tampa Bay. and they came off the bye. You came off a bye. You came off the bye, and you beat the Browns 20-16 at home. Cause for concern, guys. Spoiler alert: the Giants are not as bad as everyone thinks. They're not as bad as uh, people think as they were last year, and they're getting Malik Neighbors back this week. That's what it looks like. I shouldn't say for sure, but this Giants team went in and beat Seattle on the road. They couldn't get anything offensively going against the Bengals. That was a weird game. One of the worst Sunday night games we've seen. But the Giants aren't bad as they were last year. I shouldn't say that they're not good, but they're not as bad as they were last year. And I was talking in the beginning, like I try to pick upsets each week. I don't think this is a stretch. I think the Giants are winning this game on Sunday. I think they're gonna beat Philly in Philly. You want to talk about weird vibes and just like things being off? This whole thing with Sirianni is not good. I think you're playing on the road in New York. Malik Neighbors back. What's their Tracy Jr. Is that his name? Tracy for the Giants is like a player. Like he's better than Devin Singletary, and he showed what he could do against Cincinnati. Like that's my pick of the week. We'll get there in a minute, but I'm picking the Giants. Really quick before I go through more of their schedule, who's worse at their job, Nick Sirianni at being head coach or Jerry Jones? So owner GM. Here's the thing. I was talking about it with Scott earlier today. Say what you will about Jerry Jones. Okay. Yes, they'd be better off with a different GM, but they have gone 12-5 3 straight years. That is more than you can say about a lot of teams. So he's embarrasses himself when it comes to some PR stuff, football stuff. Clearly, I was listening live because I live here in Dallas or just outside of Dallas. I was on my way to work listening to that interview live, him talking about want to get you fired. Like he's feeling the heat, he's feeling the pressure, and he's crazy defensive. So it makes him look bad. It also makes him look bad like he didn't do anything this offseason. I get all that, but it doesn't change the fact that they've gone 12-5 3 straight years. And no one acts like Mike McCarthy is like the best coach in the league. People look at him like he's the village idiot. So if he's the village idiot, maybe the roster is pretty good. And even Mike McCarthy could coach him to 12-5 3 straight years in a row. Anyway, so to answer your question, Jack Nums, I'll say Sirianni's worse than Jerry is at being GM. It's just easy to dunk on Jerry because he's the owner. He's really old. It's the most watched, popular team in America, most watched at least. Everyone's watching the Cowboys. You either love them or most of us hate them, but we're watching. And so he is under the ultimate microscope. At least he's hanging his hat on the Cowboys brand he's built. Yeah, the Cowboys are the most notable brand in the league around the world. So Jerry's an incredible businessman too. So like I have respect for him in a lot of ways, but no, I wouldn't want him as my GM if we're being honest. So let's look at the rest of the schedule. So I think they're losing the Giants. Philly fans, I hope you're here. I hope you're listening. Okay. You are my least favorite fan base. I don't think you should even be upset about that. Like, you know what you did. You know why you're so terrible. I think you're losing the Giants. And then you go on the road to Cincinnati. Guys, Cincinnati, far from a good team. I understand that. But at the end of the day, they have problems on defense. But at the end of the day, they still have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Chase Brown is running the ball real well. Zach Moss. Like, they have some dudes that can make you pay. You're playing in Cincinnati after back-to-back road games. I'm probably taking Cincinnati in that game. Cincinnati's going to have – they've just beaten the Giants. Wasn't that impressive of a win, but also the Giants are better than people think. They play Cleveland this weekend. I think Cincinnati's going to beat Cleveland, and then they're going to feel that momentum. If they beat Cleveland, then that means if they can beat Philly, they will be 500. They're going to be sniffing that like, oh my gosh, we're right there, 500 back in the mix. I think there's a real chance they lose these next two games. Now, you probably beat Jacksonville at home. You should. If not, you're getting fired, Sirianni, after that game. Dallas, guys, people are down on Dallas, rightfully so, but they're banged up. And they played probably the best offense of the league in Detroit, in Dallas. I'm probably taking Dallas in that. This is probably a coin flip game. Probably taking Dallas. Washington's rolling. If they're still healthy, I'm taking Washington in that game. They should beat the Rams, but the Rams will have Cooper Kupp back by then. And could have Puka back. It's still Matthew Stafford. You're playing in Los Angeles on a Sunday night. Not a gimme by any means. Baltimore, yeah, you're losing that game. Carolina, you're probably winning that game. So I have two games where I'm like, yeah, you should win those. I don't even really think about it. Pittsburgh, not a lock. Good chance you'll lose that game. Washington, yeah, you're going to lose that game. And then Cowboys at home, coin flip game. There are only, the way I see it, there are 2 games left where I'm like, yes, Philly should win. Everything else is either a toss up or I'm betting them to lose. Jacksonville and Carolina. You guys, if they lose the next 2, things are going to get real weird. Things are going to get real weird, and Sirianni could be gone, especially if he's going to keep yelling to the crowd. That's just what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If they lose the next 2 and go to 3 and 4, like they get lucky, they get to play Jacksonville. Maybe they can get back to 4 and 4. But I'm just saying things are about to get weird, like they did last year for Philly. When it happens, you come back to me. You say, or you tell your friends, Seth Floyd, the Seth Floyd show. That's where I saw it first. Okay, that's what's going on. Let's see more, and then we'll get to it. Lions are, well, the Cowboys pretend to be. That's pretty fair. I guess, does he mean when Dan Orlovsky says that? Is he talking about like the toughness? I think that's what the Cowboys were trying to be last year. They definitely tried to play bully ball, but then they would get hit in the mouth, and they were real bullies. They would get hit in the mouth and they'd shrink. Detroit looks very good, man. Really good. Um, Offensively, they are just clicking. Now, Aiden Hutchinson being gone is going to hurt them quite a bit. It's going to hurt them a lot. A lot of people have said their defensive line is built like the 49ers defensive line, which is you have a star, but after him, it's pretty mediocre. And if you remove that star, it's probably below average. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say average, but they're going to have issues. Their defense hasn't been locked down at all. They played well against the Cowboys for sure. Cowboys are pretty one-dimensional right now, so not the biggest accomplishment, but Detroit's really good. But I'm worried about no Aiden Hutchinson. What are they going to do? Interested to see if they'll trade for Hassan Reddick. That feels like, does anybody want that dude sitting out, holding out over money? I mean, you could, but he wants to get paid. I don't know, man. Do I really want him? I don't know. I think Detroit's better off probably just trying to find like young depth, somebody who's buried on a depth chart somewhere and just like could play, and just try to just go for the depth route instead of trying to land a big name. Because most of the time you're disappointed with those. Most of the time, yeah, toughness, explosiveness, and how media love them. Yeah, yeah. I mean the Lions are the darlings, especially after they blew that lead in the NFC Championship last year. They are the darlings of the NFL right now. People are rooting for them. People want to see them win. I like the Lions. Like if the Niners don't win it, but the Lions won the Super Bowl, it would hurt because I'd be like, gosh dang it, we've been in this for 10 years now. The Lions get hot and win a Super Bowl, and the stupid Niners can't. But either way, like, yeah, the Lions are very likable, very, very likable. They reached out to Hassan. Also heard Max Crosby rumors. I don't think Crosby's going anywhere. Every 49er fan who's on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, is up in arms, just like, go get Max Crosby. I'd trade multiple picks. I'd trade a first rounder. I could be talked into 2 first rounders for Max Crosby. If I knew Max Crosby wanted to be in San Francisco and was like, oh, he's going to be here for him and Nick Bosa together, I would be like, yeah, 2 first rounders. I don't even care. We survived 3 first rounders by trading for Trey Lance, and we got nothing out of it. At least with Max Crosby, you give up a couple first rounders, you for sure are getting a good player. But I don't. He sounds like he's like Raider diehard. I know like things are going weird for them, but and Tom Brady now is like a minority owner there. Like I bet if he was unhappy, like Tom would step in and get him to stay. So anyway, so I think my pipe dream is I would go offer everything I have for Myles Garrett, with the Browns being a mess and they just traded away Amari Cooper. But I don't think they're getting rid of Myles Garrett. But I would trade 4 first rounders for Myles Garrett, probably pair him with Nick Bosa. That's what I would do. Also, I'm not a GM, so whatever. Last thing, and then we will we'll hop into my picks. I got to keep it quick so the wife doesn't divorce me. Take too long sometimes. I'm a talker, if you can't tell. The 2 wide receiver trades from anyone in the chat. Okay, Josh, yes, they can. You shut your mouth. You don't say that. They can pay some of them. Yeah, they can. Also, see ya, Brandon Ayuk. See ya, whoever. I don't know who else. Who else can we get rid of? Debo. I will get rid of those dudes if it meant I got Max Crosby or Myles Garrett. I would figure out a way. I'm not going to let that stop me. I can pay him if I get rid of guys, and that's going to be way more impactful than Brandon Ayuk's 9 catches on the season or whatever. He's got more than that, but you get my point. Let's talk about. I want to know from you guys. Which trade was better? Because I have strong opinions about this. Devontae Adams to the Jets or Amari Cooper to the Bills. Oh no! We good? Am I still here? I'm not echoing now, am I? I just knocked over my mic. That's what happened. Kittle and a first. Kittle, a first and a third for Myles Garrett. Uh, I don't think they would do that. I don't. Myles Garrett's worth more than Kittle's like older, and you got to take on his contract. Older, as in like you're not getting prime Kittle. Like he might be in his prime right now, but his prime's almost over. So I don't think they'd do that. Um, but I like it's good thinking. Also, Kittle's way more important than Ayuk or Debo. So I would not do that. I'd be like, look, I'll give you Ayuk and 2 first rounders or something like that. I would do that. I would for Myles Garrett. Yeah, heck yeah. But not without Kittle. Kittle is the most like unsung hero on the team, not because of what he does catching the ball, though he's catching the ball. He's got a lot of touchdowns this year, but him blocking. He's as good of a blocker as he's an above average run blocker. And I'm taking in not for tight ends, but for offensive linemen and tight ends. He's the best blocking tight end in the league. And he could hold his own as like a lineman. Like he is so good blocking. So yeah, you take him away and you can't run the ball. And that's why like Kittle's career is going to be so long and prosperous because his game he's great when he catches the ball, but his game is blocking. And that is like old man strength. That is like he's not gonna lose strength. That's why some linemen can play for a really long time because you can just be strong. You might not be as explosive, but he's going to be effective in the run game because it's close quarters. He's hand in the ground, guy in his face. He doesn't have to be super explosive. He's got to be strong, those are tied together, but you can prolong it versus these guys where their game is predicated on how fast you run and stuff like that. Like that's not Kittle. Kittle just is strong and he can block. So anyway, that's yeah. Shaq Nums, you said the Amari one is better. That's where I'm going with this. The Devontae Adams trade like makes you better, but they have a whole host of problems. And giving up another draft pick that is not going to end up a second rounder, like he's not going to be an All Pro, and they're not going to the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. Things have to get really weird. It'll make you better though. So if you really don't care about that third round pick, like fine, but I just don't. You got more problems than that. The Amari trade is fantastic. Home run. The Bills are like a good team. You can see them stalling out on offense a little bit. And guess what? Amari is like a very good receiver. He's in that, especially at this point of his career, he's in that like Brandon Ayuk tier. Like I would put him below Ayuk, but I think they're in the same tier where like he's not like one-on-one or the clear cut like number one receiver in the NFL who can just dominate anybody, but like if you're not playing your A game, he can kill you. And he is going to be good with Josh Allen. He's there. That's a great move. You only gave up a third rounder, and like a sixth rounder, right? And they got back a fifth or somewhere like that. Um, it's a great move. Great move for the Bills. I love that for the Bills. And I love it for Amari because he was dying in Cleveland. So anyway, the Jets are a poverty organization. Who like what's the long term like what is the Jets ceiling this year? I know I was pretty high on the Jets coming in because I neglected to really take into account Nathaniel Hackett and their defense being overrated. But what is their ceiling after this Devontae trade? Their ceiling is now they can maybe make the playoffs and lose in the first or second round. That is like their ceiling. I hope I'm wrong because I'm a Rodgers fan watching him play football. I'm a Rodgers fan and I like seeing teams that haven't been in the playoffs make the playoffs. So the Jets have the longest drought in the NFL right now. I would love to watch a Jets playoff game with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. This is as good as it gets, man. January football, a Saturday night or a Sunday night, it's cold outside, and you got the Jets playing the Ravens. Love it. I sign me up 7 days a week for that. Okay, but the long term, like that doesn't is you're not helping your team long term. Devontae's like over the hump. How long the one thing it might do is I guess maybe you'll get Aaron to stay one more year, but man, am I pissed because I have Garrett Wilson on my fantasy team and now it's going to take away from him? Of course I am. Of course I am. But I just don't think it's good. I don't think it's good. Um, and I loved the Amari trade. So let's get a couple of these. Hackett got play calling duties yanked from him. Yeah. The Jets blew that game, man. The Jets should have beat the Bills. Uh, you missed 2 kicks. Breece Hall not scoring on that play. I remember watching that, man. When I played running back, like Josh, you can attest to this. Okay, Josh is my witness, guys. I might talk about my high school days running the ball, but Josh is my witness. Okay, my senior year, I scored 21 touchdowns. I had 1,000 yards on 100 carries exactly. I was averaging 10 yards a carry. Okay, now I played with some really good players. Okay, Kenny Stills, and I had a big old line. But when you break free like that, and you have all this room, and you have one guy on an angle trying to meet you, uh, cut that hoe back. Cut it back. That's what you do. If you cut it back and take off across the field, you are scoring. There is no way he stops you. And Breece Hall just like tried to outrun him. I hated it. And then guess what? They missed the field goal. It is pretty bad. That's pretty bad. So anyway, they should have won that. They should have won that. First off, you spelled my name wrong. Hanson with a O, not a E, but it's okay. I'll let it slide. Should have went D1. Man, depends who you talk to. I think I should have gone FCS. I think I could have played FCS. I had a walk-on, preferred walk-on offer. Take it for what you want. Okay, to BYU. Should have taken it. Had trouble getting into the school, and then I left on a 2-year LDS mission. So that, and then after that, it was like, all right, we're not holding the spot for preferred walk-on. I had a lot of interest from Princeton. Okay, and I'm a dummy. One of the biggest regrets I have was I talked to the Princeton coach a few times, and I was like, man, I don't want to go play at Princeton. This is when I thought I was still trying to go to BYU. I was in San Diego, California, so Princeton's all the way in New Jersey, and I was like, man, I do not want to go to the East Coast and never see my family. And so after 3 or 4 conversations with our offensive coordinator over the phone, like I just kind of told him, man, I just don't think I can make it work. Those were probably my 2 biggest. If I could go back and do it differently, I would. I would have walked on a BYU. I would have tried to walk on a BYU and push that further. Josh is right. I tore my ACL at the very end of my senior year, so that kind of nixed a lot of the things I was going to do. But if I so I have 2 sons. As of right now, we'll see if we're going to add any to the mix. My 2 boys, what I'm going to tell them. So you can go to these summer camps to get noticed by coaches. I'm not sending them to the UT camp, Texas camp, or the Ohio State camp. I'm sending my kid to the the Stephen F. Austin camp, or the Sam Houston camp, or these FCS schools, Idaho State, Weber State, these University of Idaho camps. The FCS level is where I'm sending my kids, because I know I could have played there. I know I for sure could have played at the FCS level. I'm not saying I would have dominated. Don't know if I even would have started, but I could have played special teams for sure. For sure at a school like that. And I wish I had done that, but I didn't. I dumb kid, just thinking like, oh, I have the stats. I should be going D1, FBS, but like, whatever. It was like a white kid trying to play running back. What are you going to do? I wish someone had told me. Josh, I blame this on you. I blame this on you, Josh. Why didn't you look me in the face and say, listen, Seth, you are white. You are a white kid trying to play running back. You are not getting an FBS scholarship. Go play FCS or something. So whatever. That's what I'm going to tell my kids. The first thing my kids are going to know as they get older is you are white. You are white. So play defense, or set your expectations right and just play golf with me instead. Something like that. Whatever. Shaq Nums, I'll send you a link. I have a really like ghetto YouTube video. Huddle wasn't around, man, when I was playing in high school. I was the last like generation, few classes that didn't have Huddle. But I have a YouTube video out there. I'll send it to you sometime. Anyway, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent, but I have some good high school stories. We should chat those up sometime. I have some really funny high school stories with Kenny Stills, with David Lee Quisenberry. Okay, played with him. He was a senior. I was a sophomore. He's a lineman for the Vikings right now. His brother Scooter plays for the Texans. I was a senior and Scooter was a freshman, but he got called up to varsity during the playoffs. So anyway, I'll find it, Josh. I'll send it to you. There used to be a highlight tape. I'm sure I can find it still. Anyway, so I've got some good stories. You don't know. Maybe we'll do a video, just talk about that. Anyway, Breece Hall should have scored. That's what I was trying to say. Is if me running, I've been in that situation, breaking down the sideline. You have one man to beat. There's no one like really close. You cut that thing back, dude, because he's got to flip his hips. He's going to get off balance, and you can either just beat him to the other pylon or you cut it back again. But you get him off balance, and you can get into the end zone. I just didn't like it. Yeah, Dad has it for sure. Dad has it for sure. I'll post it sometime. Anyway, here we go. Let's talk about this week 7. Okay, week 7, as always, brought to you by DraftKings. No, that's not a sponsor. I wish it was a sponsor. DraftKings, hit me up. We need some I need Monster energy drink too, so I can get free monsters. That would be the dream. Here we go. Denver at the Saints. Okay, this is a 3-point line. Denver is favored by 3. Shaq Nums, here's what I'll tell you. Okay, if you don't know, if you're new to the show, new to the channel, Shaq Nums is our resident Broncos fan. And Shaq Nums, I'm going to take the Broncos in this game. Yes, part of it is because Derek Carr is out. Spencer Rattler, second game. Now you don't know, like Spencer Rattler. What I like about Spencer Rattler is he's aggressive. He didn't just lay down and check it down a bunch or whatever. Like he tries to push the ball downfield. I think that's good for them. But the Saints are without Chris Olave and Raheed Shaheed. So I do not. I don't see the Saints being able to move the ball against your defense. But Shaq Nums is Patrick Surtain back? Because if he's not back, then this game could get weird. But if Surtain's back, then yeah. Also, you said hammer the spread, not the over. Yeah, I'm taking the under in the game. Broncos defense is too good. You're right, Josh. Saints defense is also pretty good. So I'm not taking the over. The over is 37 points. Bo Nix has, I know. Oh, Surtain's out still? Still. The Broncos should win. But I didn't realize Surtain was still going to be out. So anyway, the overall is 37. I do not see them hitting it. Bo Nix, I understand he brought the Broncos back within striking distance against the Chargers, but come on, man, you were down 23-0. Teams start to relax. So I'm just saying, I still don't see Bo Nix as somebody who's just going to light up the scoreboard. Now he might have a good game. He's going to have a game this season where he lights it up and you're like, oh, okay, he's getting it. But I don't think it's this week. Short week on the road against a good Saints defense. This game has 14-10 written all over it to me, or 17-13. Either way, under 37 points for the total. But I think the Broncos are going to cover. I think they're going to cover. Next game, golly, do we even need to talk about this? Patriots, Jacksonville. Thank goodness for fantasy football. If the NFL did not have fantasy football, no one would watch this game. The 8:30 in the morning. It seems fitting that it's 8:30 in the morning. If you live in Texas, depending on where you live. I don't even know what to do with this. I'm gonna take Jacksonville. Am I gonna take Jacksonville? Hold on. As I said it out loud, I don't know if I can take Jacksonville. Oh no, Shaq Nums. What in the world? How did you find that picture? Shaq Nums. How did you find that picture? That is me. He found that picture of me. That was me in the championship game when I was a junior in high school back in 2000. Because it was 2008. Wow. Look at that. Shaq Nums, you are as cool as they come, man. You are a detective. You are as cool as they come, dude. I appreciate it. I was fat in that picture. I was my junior year, I was chubby overweight playing running back. And then senior year, I slimmed down and had a much better year senior year than I did junior year. But I think I still had I had 12 touchdowns my junior year, and we won a championship. I scored a 50-yard touchdown in the championship game. It was freaking awesome. Great times. Some of the best times of my life. Anyway, Josh, I agree. I like to watch Drake May. I like to watch rookie quarterbacks and see what happens. So that part of it, most of us are not watching this game if it wasn't for some fantasy implications on the Jacksonville side, like Evan Ingram, ETN's out, but if you got Tank Bigsby, probably worth a watch. Golly, am I taking the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Patriots? I'm going to take the Jags. And here's what I'll say. Dang right. There's a lot of those. Go find them. 38-yard touchdown. There's a lot of them. Josh, my witness. Had a lot of long touchdown runs in high school. Jacksonville stayed in London. Patriots had to fly out to London. Doug Peterson's coaching for his life right now. And the Patriots are not good. Still a rookie quarterback. Got to think that they're going to I would take the Jacksonville roster over the Patriots roster. So you got to think they'll get it done somehow. This next one, game of the week, probably. So Shaq Nums, I'm taking Jacksonville. I don't think they cover though. It's like a 3-point game. Game of the week, Detroit at Minnesota. Ooh, doggy. Ooh, doggy. I think I'm going Minnesota. I think that's what I picked. I usually am like better, like because I do an office pool with Scott. So usually I am pretty tight to what I picked in the office, and I cannot remember what I picked. But I I'm gonna take Minnesota. They're coming off a bye week. They're at home. Detroit just lost Aiden Hutchinson, and offensively they're gonna give Minnesota everything they got. But man, I don't know. It's hard to pick against them. I would love to see Detroit win, so that Minnesota's not undefeated anymore. But I also think everyone's going to take Detroit after what they did to Dallas. But Minnesota coming off a bye week, yeah, I'm taking Minnesota. Um, after 2 minutes of tape, I'm convinced you could replace and be better than Travis Etienne. Thank you. I'm not as fast as Etienne. That ultimately was probably my biggest issue. I was like a 4.7, 4.8 kind of guy. So what was I gonna do? But I was a tough runner. I always felt like, and yes, part of it's like I'm a 49er fan, so of course I'm gonna make this comparison. But I was like a Frank Gore type of running back. Like Frank was never the fastest guy in the field. He wasn't like a straight bulldozer, but he just was hard to tackle. And so like he just bounced off a lot of guys, and then like if you gave him a little room, he could make you pay. Like that's the kind of runner I was. In high school. I appreciate that, Josh. I appreciate that. Watching me play ball. It was fun. It was a good time. It was fun playing. It was fun having my family there. I was really lucky. I had my older brother there supporting me and cheering me on. Like that meant a lot to me, man. Probably more than you realize. You always being there for me. You were my hero, dude. You're still my hero. So it meant a lot that you were in the stands cheering me on. So anyway, I'm taking Minnesota coming off a bye week, but that's game of the week to me, man. I know we got Niners Chiefs. So like for me, that's game of the week. But for this one, like Detroit, Minnesota is the best matchup. Can't believe it's a noon game, but is what it is. Philly Giants, guys. I already told you I'm taking the Giants. Taking the Giants at home, getting Malik Neighbors back. I think Philly has too many issues. They got problems, man. They have some real issues. I'm surprised Philly is favored by 3 points on the road. I would think like maybe 1.5 to Philly, but I'm taking the Giants to win outright. Bengals at the Browns. This is how bad the Browns are. The Bengals are 2-4, and they are on the road at the Browns, and they are favored by 6 points. 6 points, and they're 2-4. That's how bad the Browns are. That's also why I'm just so down on the Eagles. They barely beat the Browns. I'm taking the Bengals. Nick Chubb, not redemption game, but Nick Chubb, first game of the year, like going to be a great day for him. Incredible. He's back after that injury. But yeah, I don't care. The Browns have all sorts of problems. Going the Bengals. Titans, Bills. Do we even need to talk about it? Bills cover with Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's definitely scoring a touchdown in this game. It's one of those deals. Like if I was a coach and we just traded for Amari Cooper, we got this new piece, this new toy to play with. Like I'm making sure we're scoring a touchdown to justify it and be like, look how smart we are. Even though I do think it was a good move, he's for sure scoring a touchdown. Ooh, Green Bay and Houston. This one is a good one. I'm going Houston. I'm picking a lot of like underdogs in this week. I'm going Houston. I don't know like what's the weather like in Green Bay. It's only October, so it shouldn't be too frigid cold. I believe in D'Amico. I do not believe in the Packers defense. Joe Mixon is back. He's going to run. He's going to run wild. And CJ Stroud I would take CJ Stroud over Jordan Love. So I'm taking Houston, and we're going to find out a lot about these two teams though. If Green Bay beats Houston, I will probably flip how I feel about them, because then they'll have proved it to me that like, oh, okay, they're legit, but I don't think their defense is going to hold up. And I believe in D'Amico. Seahawks Falcons. Ooh, this is another like really good one, because could Seattle lose 4 in a row? Freaking Christmas come early. Seattle lose 4 in a row. You know how much I would love that. Do they? I mean, they had 10 days to get ready for this game. Uh, I'm going Atlanta. Yes, because I'm a homer and I want Seattle to lose, but Seattle cannot stop the run. They cannot stop the run. And Atlanta has Algier and Bijan Robinson, and I think that's going to be the game plan. They got issues on defense. I don't know what guys are back. I don't know if Byron Murphy's back yet. Like, I haven't checked into all that. I'm not sure. But Atlanta at home, I'm taking. They're gonna win. Some creepy. Is that Amazon? Some creepy truck just drove by. One of those kidnapper trucks. Anyway, I'm taking Atlanta. If Seattle wins, though, I won't be shocked because they're 3 in a row, and you are feeling it, man. So like you're gonna get the very best game from Seattle this week. And I'm just speaking this out loud. What's the over under is 51. I would take the over. This to me has one of the what the Lions and Seahawks did on Monday Night Football a couple weeks ago. This is going to be one of those games. I think DK Metcalf has a great game after really struggling, not doing what he wanted to against the 49ers. Like DK is going to go off. But I think Atlanta's going to win it because they're going to be able to control the ball better and run the ball better. I think Atlanta's going to score 30 and Seattle's going to score 27, something like that. It's going to be 30, 27, 31, 27 kind of game. Close. It's going to be one of the more exciting games on the week. Next, oh gosh, Dolphins, Colts. Poor Dolphins, man. What do you do? What do you do without Tua? I know they think Tua's going to come back. Like, should he? I don't know. Is that really what we should we be discussing that? Like, I don't know. Why do people have issues about discussing that? You shouldn't talk about another man's career like that. Why? It's like what we do. I think he should hang it up. I don't blame him for not. It's hard to stop playing when you're really good at something, but probably should hang it up. Regardless, he's not going to be back this week. How could you ever take the Dolphins in any sort of game? They can't do anything on offense. So I'm taking the Colts. Commanders, Panthers, 8-point spread. Yeah, I'm taking the Commanders. Commanders look really good. They played Baltimore pretty tough, so I don't think they are like Fugazi and gonna like miss the playoffs. They probably are gonna win the division, probably because they play a last place schedule. They play a last place schedule, and they have so they're probably going to win the division. But I don't think they're going to. I don't think you're going to get to the end of the season and be like, oh, Washington, they have a real shot to come out of the NFC. Like I don't think that they're probably like the 4 seed, maybe the 3 seed, and it's a great story. But whatever. But anyway, I'm taking them against the Panthers. Rams, Raiders, man. I think they're getting Cooper Kupp back. Hopefully they get Cooper Kupp back because I need him because he's in my fantasy team, and so I need him. That would be cool. But I'm gonna take the Rams. I don't. They're coming off a bye week. The Raiders are just coming off being the Raiders every week, so that sucks. McDaniel needs to do something to save his job, man. Yeah, but what are you gonna fire him because of the Tua thing? Like I don't. Everyone knows like your quarterback's gone, and it's not your fault. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, can you get mad at him for negligence of not having a good backup? I mean, you know what Skylar Thompson is, and you still ran it back with Skylar Thompson as your backup. So like he's at fault there, but I don't know, man. Especially when you knew Tua was so. Actually, now I'm saying this out loud. Like you know how injury prone Tua is, and you still like left Skylar Thompson as your number 2. Like that does feel a little egregious. I don't think he's getting fired though. I think how do you with Tua being out? If Tua comes back and they win games, like yeah, yeah. Please get the gang back. Please fire him and let him come back and help us in the run game. Saleh is probably the defensive coordinator next year. I'd still put money on that, depending on how this ends up with Nick Sorensen. But yeah, let's get the gang back together. Get the band back. I love it. Do you think Misty Groin? Hi, Misty. Do you think Jalen Hurts because he doesn't stretch well? Doesn't stretch well? Do I think Jalen Hurts gets Hurts because he doesn't stretch well? Are you trying to have like a play on words? I don't know. No idea. Is Jalen hurt right now? Is he banged up? I don't think he is he? I think he played through some injuries last year. I don't think Jalen's that great. I just don't think he's a great quarterback. It's one of the best comments we've ever had. Do you think Jalen hurts because he doesn't stretch well? Yeah, that could be. Maybe. I don't know who Misty Groin is. Misty, do I know you? Is this like your alias? Or is this really some person I've never met before? Welcome to the show. Could be a groin issue. Anyway, yeah, could be a groin issue. Maybe he has a groin issue. I don't know. Is he on the injury report? I honestly don't know. I think even when Jalen's healthy, he's got to run to be a good quarterback and be effective. He's got to scramble more. They need to run read option. Jalen is best when he gets outside the pocket, buys some time, and finds somebody streaking deep. That's when he's best. So all this input from Misty Groin, appreciate it. So funny. It's got alternate account at 175 cents. Yeah, maybe. plus 175. Josh, what if Misty Groin was just mom? I told mom about the live stream. Yeah, I try to boost my numbers with my mom hopping on. Don't judge, guys. You got to do what you got to do. Anyway, be funny. Anyway, let's move on. Guys. Chiefs Niners. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say about this 49ers Chiefs game. I'm probably gonna do a preview if you guys want to check it out. I'll do it tomorrow, and it'll come out tomorrow evening or Friday. But I think a lot of people are surprised the Niners are 1.5 point favorites. Here's the truth. Do you think is this okay? I have no idea who this is. Do you think the Patriots can win the division? Don't forget to do your laundry too. I'm so at a loss of who this person is. What the heck? No, Patriots can't win the division, Misty. I'll get my laundry. I just did my laundry, so I think it's fine. Part of me thinks, is this Stacy? But Stacy wouldn't do that. She wouldn't put Misty Groin. I just love it. I love it. Here's the thing about this 49ers Chiefs game. Here's what's going to happen, okay? This is as good of a spot the 49ers have been in when they're facing a Chiefs team. And that sounds weird, but just think about it. Like the Chiefs are 5-0. I think that helps the Niners that they're 5-0. Every game has been close, I think, for the most part. Maybe that Saints game wasn't as close, but kind of was. The second half, it still was like somewhat there. They're not going to go undefeated. They have not been playing great. Their defense has played really well, but their offense is all sorts of out of sync. No Pacheco, no Rashee Rice. Pat Mahomes has thrown 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions through 6 weeks. Like, that's not good. I understand in my book, he's like already the GOAT. He really is, because I just am assuming he's going to get another Super Bowl or two. But I can say that Pat Mahomes is the GOAT and that he's going to win at least 2 more Super Bowls in his career, but while also saying he is not playing good football right now. He's not. 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Most of his throws are within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. A lot of dink and dunk, a lot of behind the line of scrimmage. That's not taking away from his legacy. I'm just saying this point, 6 weeks into the 2024 NFL season, he's not playing very well. Now, could they get right against 49ers? Of course. Of course. He's Pat Mahomes. He could do it at any point. I'm just looking at it like I think the Niners have them in a good spot only because of this. The Chiefs do not feel the I don't want to say pressure, but like they're gonna lose a game before the season's over. Okay. They have to come on the road to the 49ers. And the 49ers going in probably feel like, man, no one expects us to win. We've started this season so bad. No one expects us to win. So, like, let's just go out and play. We feel really good off of beating Seattle on the road. We just play with our hair on fire. What do we have to lose? No one thinks we're going to win anyway. So I kind of like that spot for the 49ers, because last year, like, the Niners were favored in the Super Bowl, and this was like, this, you better do it. You better do it. This is your best chance. The time before we played them, we were actually, it was the same situation. We were 3-3, but the Chiefs were, they were 4-2, and they weren't like what they hadn't won back-to-back Super Bowls yet. The last time we played them before this past Super Bowl was in 2022. So they hadn't won, like, he'd won his Super Bowl against, oh gosh, I'm blanking. What was Pat Mahomes' first Super Bowl win? He lost to the Bucks, and then he beat the Niners. Excuse me. I'm an idiot. He beat the Niners in 2020, and then this was that season where he lost to the Bucks. Anyway, I'm getting all confused. The point is the Chiefs weren't like what they were yet. They were 4-2, so they were like pedal to the metal. I'm just saying, like, this is a good spot. It really is. Even though they're 5-0, this is probably a good spot because they're gonna be they don't feel any sense of urgency. I'm sure the Chiefs don't. Now they are coming off a bye, so that's like the one big thing where I'm like, gosh, who knows? But the Niners had 10 days rest. What is the law of diminishing returns on a bye week? Like at some point, you can only have so much rest and preparation. Like you just got to go out and play. I like MFN. I like the 49ers special teams assistant Phil Myazal. I don't know anything about him. Is he good? Can we hire him to be the regular special teams coordinator? Because Brian Schneider, he got to go. We got to get him out the building. Okay. Because you almost lost that game to Seattle because of that. So can we hire him? What do you like about him? I literally have never heard his name. Do you know him? Um, uh, I'm all ears. I'm all ears. He could be a stud for all I know. But all I know is we've had bad special teams since Shanahan showed up, and Schneider is not the guy. So let's get this guy a chance. Let's give him a chance. Sounds good to me. Under Hugh Jarazak. I don't know who that is. Oh, at Ball State. Love it. Look, man, I am all for it. Thanks for hopping in the chat, by the way. Appreciate it. MFN. I don't know who you are. I don't think we know each other, but appreciate hopping in the chat. I would love it. I would love it. Let's put someone else in there. We are 31st in DVOA rankings. I do that where I like talk too fast. DVOA rankings. The Niners are like 5th in offense and like 8th in defense. I can't remember. I saw it today, but then we're 31st in special teams. Like it's just not good. It's just inexcusable for a team that is trying to win a Super Bowl. Like, can we just get to like 20? We don't even have to be at the average. Can we just get to like 20 and then we can just like hang in there? That is terrifying. Please don't do that, MFN. I know you. I look in your windows at night. Well, please don't do that anymore. That's horrifying. So thanks for the warning. I'm going to close the windows and call the police. I don't know, but appreciate you hopping in the chat at least. Thanks. Anyway, here's what I'm saying. Also, the last thing I want to say about this Niners game, I got to go. Stacey's going to divorce me, guys. I got like 3 games left. The 49ers, the last 3 times we've played them in the Super Bowl this past year. Then in 2022, we played them week 7. And then the time before that we played them was in the 2020 Super Bowl. All 3 of those games, we have had a 10-point lead on the Chiefs. Can you freaking believe that? At some point in those games, we had a 10-point lead. Now, in the 2022 game, that was Christian McCaffrey's first game as a 49er. They took the lead back before halftime, but we had a 10-point lead. So holy crap, man. What do we do? What the heck, man? I need Shanny to get over that hump. I think someone said it today, Damon Bruce. You guys probably don't know who he is. But he's like a 49er guy, whatever. He was talking today, and he said, if the Niners can get to 30, which is a huge ask, but if you can get to 30, you're for sure winning, is what he said. I don't even think it'll take 30 because I don't think the Chiefs are just lighting it up on offense. I think if you can get to 24, I would feel good about you winning the game. If you can get to 24, it's not a lock, but I would feel good. If you can get to 30, I think it's a lock that you win the game. I'm going to do it, guys. I'm going to take the Niners. I'm going to take the Niners to win. Probably going to regret it. Yes, the Chiefs are the better team. Yes, the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl, I think. Probably. No, if the Chiefs lose this game, the narrative will be cool. Why don't you guys beat them when it matters in the Super Bowl? And rightfully so. Like, that's fine. But it will do a lot psychologically for the Niners. I'll say that. If they can, everyone wants to talk about in 1994, the 49ers had lost to Dallas like 3 years in a row in the playoffs or something like that. We hadn't beaten Dallas like 3 straight times. And then in 1994 in the regular season, the Niners beat them. And then later in the NFC Championship game later that year, they ran away with it and beat Dallas again. And everyone was like, it's because they beat them earlier in the regular season. So if you want to take that look, like that would be the biggest thing that comes from it. Anyway, I'm going to take the Niners. You're starting to freak me out a little bit, MF, and I don't have a chimney, thankfully. So Stanton's going down someone else's chimney tonight, I guess. Here we go. 3 more games, real quick. Babe, if you're on, you're probably not watching, but if you are, I'm almost done. I promise. We have 3 games. Guys, this is the weirdest line to me. How are the Jets favorites at Pittsburgh? Does Vegas think that Russell Wilson is starting? And this seemed weird to me. The Jets are 2-4. Steelers are 4-2. They still have a really good defense. Devontae Adams can't move the line that much, can he? I don't know. Actually, what I could see is the Jets having a great offensive game and everyone being like, "Oh, here come the Jets," and then the rest of the way, like Devontae and Rodgers are pretty mediocre. Regardless, I'm taking the Steelers. Taking the Steelers at home. Sunday Night Football. I don't care that Devontae's there. I know it's going to help. It will help. But Pittsburgh's defense is so good. TJ Watt is going to have like 6 sacks. He's going to cause a fumble or 2. So I'm taking the Steelers. Ravens Bucks. Ooh, Ravens Bucks. This one I do remember from work today, and I'm taking the Bucks. This would be a bold win. This is a bold statement for me. It would be a huge win for the Bucks, but they're at home. I think everybody is riding Baltimore super high, as they should. Baltimore's earned it, but this could be one of those games where it's like, oh, Bucks won. Maybe Baltimore isn't as good as we thought. I think the Bucks offense is fantastic. Their defense isn't amazing. Like, they have questions, but I think I think Bake May is going to get it done. I think that's what we're looking at. Mr. Unlimited. So he might play. What are the Steelers doing? Why you're 4-2? Just ride it out with Justin Fields. No one likes Russ anyway. There's not a single person in that locker room that has Russ's back in this and is like, Team Russ, let's play with Russ. No one is in Russ's corner. And Fields, I think, is really likable. It's going to cause problems. Anyway, whatever. I'm thinking I'm taking the Steelers in that game though. Last game, Chargers, Cardinals. Chargers 2.5 points favorites on the road. I'm definitely going Chargers. Cardinals are going to play well after playing so bad against Green Bay, but they don't have a good enough defense, and the Chargers have a really good defense. And they're going to run the ball. They're just going to run the ball, and Herbert's going to make enough plays they need to win. And I think the Chargers go to 5-2. So I think 5-2, right? Or are they 3-2 right now? I have the standings. They are 3-2, so I think they're going to go to 4-2. Anyway, MJH is also out. I knew he got hurt last game. It's Chargers. Chargers dub. Anyway, so I got for you. I think the Jets are likely to win the Super Bowl over the Saints. All right, cool, man. Hope we see it. That'd be a fun Super Bowl to watch. I'm all for Rodgers getting a Super Bowl. I really am. That's all I got. I got to. Oh, that was my bad. Thanks for hanging out. We had new people in the chat today. Misty Groin, MFing, people I've never talked to, or at least I've never talked to them on YouTube. Maybe I've talked to them in real life and they don't want to reveal their identity, but I appreciate it. You are always welcome to join and hop in the chat. It was fun. Guys, I'm going to do go watch other videos. I had a video come out today talking about 5 things I know for sure about the NFL through 6 weeks. Tomorrow, I'll probably preview Niners Chiefs and maybe hit on 1 or 2 other things, and then we'll do some reaction shows, but fun times. We're right in the heart of it. Let's keep enjoying. You guys are the best. I'm out.